Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. These opening lines from Emma Lazarus's poem, The New Colossus, memorialized, of course, at the base of the Statue of Liberty, has always touched my heart on 3 separate accounts. First, because the poem represents the kind of country I want to be a part of, one that welcomes the tired, the poor, the homeless, and the tempest-tossed. Second, because this poem that embodies the highest ideals of our nation was written by an American woman born in New York and committed to social justice for all. And third, because Mrs. Lazarus's commitment to justice was informed by her identity as a Jew. Though Ms. Lazarus enjoyed a privileged upbringing, she was an advocate on behalf of indigent Jewish and non-Jewish refugees and worked to provide vocational training to help destitute immigrants become self-supporting. Ms. Lazarus seamlessly blended her Jewish and American identities and made the world a better place. As a Jewish American, I am proud of this heritage and am appreciative that my small minority culture is recognized by the city of San Jose with today's proclamation of Jewish American Heritage Month. Jews may be small in numbers, representing just 2% of Silicon Valley's population, but we have never been a community to be small in influence. Jewish immigrants were among the earliest settlers of Northern California, and our presence in San Jose dates back to the early 1850s when Jewish merchants, including Leopold Hart and Marcus Stern, moved into the downtown area and opened millineries, clothing stores, general stores, bookstores, and stationery shops. In fact, Stern's Luggage, which opened its doors in 1852, continues to be the oldest business in Santa Clara County. More than a century later, Jews were instrumental in transforming our Valley of Heart's Delight to the capital of Silicon Valley. Many of the first computer companies, like Tandem, Atari, and Intel, were started or steered by Jews. Google was founded by Jewish immigrants. Perhaps because there are so few of us, we like to call out other Jewish-owned businesses when they're serving our city, from Kragen Auto Parts and Markovitz and Fox Metal Recyclers, to the Jewish innovators who have transformed society, such as Andrew Grove from Intel, Eric Benamou of 3Com, Safra Katz and Larry Ellison from Oracle, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg at Facebook, and of course the late Dave Goldberg of SurveyMonkey. Naturally, when someone prominent behaves badly, we quickly hope he or she isn't Jewish because we still fear that the wrongdoing of an individual reflects poorly on our entire community. Which is perhaps the most telling quality of a community that despite its history, despite its contributions, still walks on eggshells because we know from centuries and more of hard evidence that anti-Semitism is never more than a heartbeat away. It's a theme that you've already heard a bit this morning. Just months ago at UCLA, that bastion of progressive thought and intellectual integrity, a Jewish student's fitness to serve on the UCLA Student Senate was questioned because she's Jewish, and on that basis, her fidelity to the school could not be counted upon. 2 weeks ago, swastikas were painted on a fraternity house at Stanford University. Every year, Jewish students at all of our UC campuses confront something that's come to be called Hate Week, a political movement that thinly veils itself as a human rights concern for Palestinian human rights, but is truly a condemnation of all Jews everywhere. We are comfortable here. Unlike other minority cultures that continue to struggle to achieve the American dream, Jews as a group have become well-educated, professionally successful, and culturally philanthropic. And perhaps it is that very success that seems to render proactive inclusion or cultural sensitivity unnecessary. But it is necessary. Even in our forward-thinking, economically rebounding Silicon Valley, home to an ethnically and religiously diverse population, anti-Semitic attitudes are not difficult to find. Earlier this year, a student at Monte Vista High School planted an insult against a student from a Jewish Israeli family in a caption beneath a team photo in the school's yearbook. Elsewhere in California this year, a teacher asked his students to write essays on whether the Holocaust was, quote, an actual event in history or merely a political scheme. The many anti-bullying campaigns at our schools provide programming to combat discrimination based on race and sexual orientation or identity,